Welcome to toy-polloi.
Hello and welcome to another video from toy-polloi, and today we are going to be restoring this vintage Generation 1 Megatron. Now, I was sent this figure along with a whole load of others by Michael Schaefer a good few months back, and I've been slowly working my way through the box of Transformers, trying to repair and restore as many as I can, and Megatron is one of those ones that I've always had a love-hate relationship with this figure, so I thought it would be a good time to sort of get this one fixed up. Now, overall actually this figure is in not too bad condition. Like a lot of the other figures in the box, at some point a battery is leaked, and so they've all got sort of a bit of battery residue on them, and they've gone a little bit sort of sticky, and some of the metal seems to fuse together a bit, so he's not the easiest of figures to transform at the moment. But as you can see, I've sort of managed to get him standing up here. Now, the reason I have a sort of love-hate relationship with this figure is because I did absolutely love the Transformers cartoon and thought Megatron was a fantastic character. It was only when I got the toy that I thought, oh, actually the toy's not that great. It's just not a very good likeness of Megatron. Even the face doesn't particularly look like him. The fact he's got these tiny little stubby arms, I just didn't think this did the sort of character justice, and I still think that today. I've had a Megatron figure in my collection for many years, but he sort of sits at the back because every time I see him I just think, oh, it's a shame, they could have done so much better with this toy. But you know, he is what he is, and this Megatron here needs a little bit of work to get him looking as smart as he possibly can. Now, as you can see, overall actually, just for sort of from distance, it doesn't look too bad. The stickers are pretty worn, and as I say, it's a very sort of stiff figure because there's a lot of sort of residue and stuff in it. Actually, just getting his arms in and out, it took me a while to get this fist out because it's sort of stuck in place, so everything's going to need a very good clean to make sure that it sort of all moves smoothly again. And as I say, the stickers are damaged, and some of them have been put on wrong. You can see here, actually, if we look at the top of it, there's a sticker that's going over this little hole where on the Japanese version you'd actually be able to put a projectile missile in and fire that out. That's on wrong. The Decepticon sticker here has sort of worn away, likewise all of the ones on the side of his legs where that turns into the sort of handle of the gun. That's all very worn, and I've been trying to find the one final missing part that this figure didn't come with. As you can see, it's got most of the sort of the parts. This is the gun rest, and we actually have Megatron's gun here, but it didn't have the sight, and that is a very key part of Megatron. It should clip onto his arm here. And finally, I managed to find one, so here it is. This cost me quite a lot of money off eBay. I've been trying to track one down for a good few months, and it finally turned up, and I think I paid slightly over £20 just for the gun sight. But you know, sometimes you just have to sort of stump up the money to get the final missing piece. So I paid it, it's arrived, so I now have all the pieces to get to work on this figure. First up though, let's transform him into the gun so you can see what he looks like then, and then we'll start giving him a good clean. Right, here he is transformed into his gun mode. So you can clearly see where the main offending sort of sticker being put on wrong is quite obvious on the top there, and the rest of the stickers are fairly sort of scruffy. That really is the sort of the least of my worries, because you can buy replacements of those stickers, and again, those have just arrived, so I've got a nice replacement sheet of those to put on once we get him all cleaned up. But really, I think the first thing to do with him is to give him a wash, because he does smell of the sort of battery acid that's leaked over him, and that's quite a strong smell. It's also a little bit sticky, and I think just giving him a clean will help some of the issues. Now, I'm not actually going to take this figure apart to start with, because I think we should be able to do most of the cleaning while it's all held together. I'm going to clean it first in gun mode, then I'll transform it, and I'll sort of use a toothbrush with some hot soapy water to just sort of wash in all of the parts to make sure there's as much dirt and grime sort of got rid of as possible. And I hope that will make quite a big difference to sort of the way he'll move and how sticky he feels, and hopefully some of these joints will feel slightly less sticky. He's also got a lot of loose screws on him, so where his arms are held onto his body, that's held on with these sort of quite small screws in quite weak little areas, and everything's a bit loose. I think everything should feel a lot better if we tidy it up. It's also missing its little rub symbol, which should be stuck on there, and I've got a replacement of that as well. But yeah, the first thing we'll do, we'll give him a wash. I'm not going to submerge this in the water, as I say. It's just going to be held above the water, and I'm going to be using a toothbrush to get the hot soapy water on it, sort of just gently brush around, and then I'll give him a good dry, because there's a lot of metal pieces on this and we don't want them to sort of tarnish or rust. And then we can sort of see what it looks like, maybe start removing some of these stickers. I'm hoping these will remove fairly easily. Can just sort of pick them off with my nail, and then we'll get some residue removed again with a bit of lighter fluid. But you can see most of these stickers are going to come off, you know, without too much work. So we'll get them removed. But yeah, let's give it a clean first. And here we go, it's all back on my desk and nice and dry. I gave everything a really good clean, and as is always the case, just cleaning things does make them look and feel a whole lot better. Even the chrome, which was a little bit sort of tatty, is looking a lot nicer. All the parts now seem to work a lot better as well. I was having trouble getting some of these arms sort of open and sliding because there was obviously a lot of dirt and grime within the sort of joints of this, but you can see now that actually slides quite nicely. Likewise, the fists sort of go in and out a lot easier, so it did make a big difference just to do that. It's still a little bit loose and floppy in places, but we'll sort that out later. I think the next thing I actually want to do is I'm going to remove some of these really rough stickers. I've sort of decided as I was cleaning it that I'm not going to remove all of them because some are in still reasonable condition. It would be quite nice to leave some of these original ones in. They've not been applied particularly well, but that never seems to bother me. You know, that's just how a child has put them on, but most of them are in reasonable condition. That one there is a bit torn, so I'm going to remove that one. And then obviously the ones on the outside, these are very damaged. The Decepticon logo is completely missing, so I'm going to remove that one. This one that's not been put on properly I'll remove, and that one, and the sort of side ones. But there are some that are reasonable, and so I might as well just leave them. I think there's a couple on the arms that don't look too bad. These are a little bit worn, but not sort of bad enough for me to warrant taking them off. So let's remove those stickers first, and I'll show you how I'm going to do that, and then we can start tidying up the rest of it. So to start with, I've just removed the pieces that I'm not going to work on, the ones that have got sort of reasonable stickers. I'm left with the main body and this silencer part, which has some very tatty looking stickers on either side. And the first thing I'm going to do is let's deal with this Decepticon logo on the leg part. Really, I'm just going to scrape that off with my nail because most of it should come off like that. And it's the easiest way of doing it, really. It's sort of doesn't take too much time, and you're not going to damage anything underneath if you're using your nail. Your nail's not going to scratch anything. So we'll just take that off. And now we are just left with the sticky residue. So what I've got here is some cotton buds. I'm going to put some lighter fluid onto the cotton bud. This is just normal lighter fluid that I picked up at a local shop. Put that onto the end of the cotton bud, and this will dissolve the glue that's been used to put the sticker on. So we can just rub that over like that. It will start to sort of move it all. And once we've got most of it off, I've then got a tissue, and we can wipe the rest of the residue away. And that's not looking too bad at all. If there's any left, just a little bit more lighter fluid on there, and we'll rub that over the area again. And then we can wipe that away. And that's how easy it is to remove the stickers. It really doesn't take much effort at all. I'm going to go a little bit careful on some of these where there's chrome underneath it, because I'm not quite sure if the chrome will come off. I don't think it should, so I'm just going to sort of go easy with that. First up though, we're going to remove, let's try this side one here. So again, the same technique. I'm just going to clip that down, get my nail underneath it. We'll scrape off all the sticker, and then we'll do the lighter fluid. Yeah, there you go, that's actually come off pretty nicely. There's a slight difference in colour around the edge, and I think that's just because the chrome underneath the sticker has faded slightly less than the chrome that was sort of out in the air. But by the time we put another sticker back on that, you're not going to notice at all. So now I'm going to work around the rest of this toy, just removing the stickers that I don't want to leave behind. So we've got one here, this one here, and once all that's done, we can then try and sort of start tightening up the figure and make sure it stands properly. That didn't take too long at all really, and I've managed to get everything pretty clean. You can see there is a little bit of light sort of patches where the stickers were put on wrong, but I don't think by the time we put the other stickers back over the top of that you will even notice. And when we turn it over here, there's actually a little bit of chrome damage on the underside of this where this sticker was. That was actually there when I took the sticker off. You could see it looks like it had never been chromed particularly well. So again, just a sort of interesting issue you find as you're sort of fixing these toys, but again that's going to have a sticker over the top, so I'm not going to worry about it. I've decided in the end I'm just leaving all of these ones. They're in a, you know, they've got a little bit of playwear to them, but nothing really too bad. There's a scratch on that one, but I think I'm just going to leave it. I do like that sort of slight bit of wear to it. Likewise on the inside of the arms, those stickers have a little bit of playwear to them, so I'm just going to leave those. It was really the outside ones where he's in gun mode that they look pretty scruffy, and all of those Decepticon logos had faded away, so we'll replace those. And that will actually leave me some of the stickers that I've got to use on my other Megatron, which is also in a very sorry state. That's the one I've had in my collection for many years. I think most of the stickers on that are damaged, so I'll be able to use some of these to fix that one up, and then I'll maybe have to buy another set of these. These actually came from a website called Toy Hacks. I'll put a link in the description as to where you can get those from. I'd bought some things from them before, but not for Transformers, so it's interesting to see what their Transformer stickers look like, and they are really very nice, so I'm very pleased with those. At the end we'll put these onto the toy and see what they look like. The next job on the list to do, mainly because it takes quite a while for the paint to set, is to repair some of the chrome damage on Megatron's gun here. Overall the gun is in not too bad condition, but you can see there is a little bit of chrome loss just on these side pieces, and also on the rear part of the gun there's a bit of chrome missing, and just sort of general little marks all over. To fix this we're going to be using some Molotow liquid chrome pens. This is I think this is a 5mm nib. I can't remember what size nib it is. It's only a 4mm nib. It's quite a big nib, but it sort of covers quite easily. The only problem I ever find with these pens is if you don't let it dry, it's very easy to dull the finish, and by sort of drying time I'm meaning a couple of weeks. Do the chroming and then just leave it, don't touch it or anything, and in 2 weeks time it will have set nice and firmly, and you will be able to then sort of handle it again. If you try and touch it before then, the chances of dulling it with your sort of fingers is very high, so just be patient with this stuff. But it is really nice, it does give a very good chrome finish. So what I'll do is I will paint the chrome onto this, and then I sort of tend to clamp whatever it is I'm working on in my little vise thing here so that it's held off the ground. I'll put this to the side and then just leave it. A couple of weeks later I'll come back and everything will be finished and ready. So for now let's get everything primed so that we can do this. So I'll just take one of these clips out, and I'm going to clip this onto somewhere where there isn't any chrome loss, which I think was probably where I just did it there, onto that arm there. Then that gives me something to hold the sort of part with as I fix up the chrome. Once I'm done I can slot it into that and I don't have to touch it. So make sure you shake the pens well first. Always good to give them a really good shake, then we can get chroming. The next job on the list is actually to start tightening up some of the screws that hold this Megatron together, because he is a little on the floppy side, and I think mostly with the Megatron it's the screws coming loose over the years that causes those issues. There's a lot of joints that are held together with rivets so that they don't really sort of come undone, but there are a lot that you can see, like this one here, that's held together with a screw. And actually the way the arms are held onto the body, these have a screw and a sort of mini ratchet mechanism around them. If I can just get it rotated around so you can see it, there's a slight sort of ratchet mechanism there. You can see the little red bit of plastic there clicks onto a bit of the grey plastic, but they are very loose, and normally with this all you need to do is get a screwdriver and tighten up this screw. Actually, you can see how loose that one is already, so we just give that a good tighten, and that, yeah, is immediately really quite firm. So when we come to pose him, that should make all the difference we need. So I'm going to do that to both of the arms. Then there's one sort of more awkward screw to get to that I have actually already taken apart, but I've just put it back together so I can show you the process of getting to it. But you can see there, yeah, that screw is very loose as well. The front part of the gun is held on by one single screw, which is under this section, but to get to it you have to remove this whole part, and it's actually quite straightforward, because I had to do it to get the sticker off, because there was one sticker under there. And the way you do that is on this side, you can see there's a small clip there, we just have to unclip that, and on the other side there is a clip at the front, which you can just about see there. All you've got to do is get a screwdriver underneath that, and that will unclip quite easily, like so. And then we turn it round, and there is a clip at the back in the same position but sort of inside. So if I put my screwdriver in here and gently twist, that will unclip as well. There you go, you can take that piece off, and there it shows you this screw in the middle. So that is the screw we need to get to, and you can see that this whole piece is fairly sort of floppy, it doesn't actually sit in place properly, and that will just be fixed by tightening that one screw up nice and tight like that. Now there's no longer so much sort of free movement on that, but you can still rotate it round. That works a treat. And we can then just clip this piece back on. It just goes over the top, and you push it down and it clips in place. Very easy to do. So all I'm going to do now is go around the rest of the screws, tighten them all up, and then I'll sort of pose Megatron and see what he looks like. But you can see it's mainly the screws near the joints where things rotate are going to be the issue. As I say, I do not like the construction of this toy. It's just bits everywhere. That one feels quite firm, so I'll just do the others and then we'll try and pose him. Okay, so I've now given everything a good tighten, and it has actually made a big difference to him. He really poses quite well now. The legs are still floppy, sort of being able to rotate out to the side, but remember back to my childhood, they were always like this. I'd never sort of thought it was a particularly well constructed toy, because the fact that legs were kept sort of wanting to fold out to the side. That's just the way he is constructed. But the arms and all of that, you can now pose and they actually stay in place, whereas beforehand they would sort of fall down. And I think by the time we get the gun sight attached to that arm, which is a pretty heavy piece of plastic, it should still hold in place quite nicely. So very easy thing to do on Megatron, just tighten up the screws. If there were any sort of joints that were a little bit looser, I'd be using PTFE tape. I've shown this a lot in previous videos for fixing loose joints. You just put a bit of this plumber's tape, that's all it is. You push this into the joints, and it just gives them that extra little bit of grip, and it's also a non-permanent fix, so if you want to ever remove it, you can. I'd always recommend trying PTFE tape before anything else. It's very cheap to buy. Get it from most sort of plumbers, merchants or DIY shops. As you can see, this one cost me 59p. It's very cheap, so always have some of that to hand if you're fixing toys. So with Megatron, let's move on to the next thing, which I think is going to be we'll put the stickers back on him. So as I say, I picked these up. These come from Toy Hack's website. There are plenty of pictures online about where these go, so I'm just going to follow those. new stickers really have made an amazing difference to how this Megatron looks. You can see it really brings out the chrome on the top of him, so it's certainly something that's worth doing. And I think the Toy Hack stickers for these Transformers are really very nice. Now I've just replaced a few on the inside, not many as I showed you, and just done the ones on the outside because they had the most damage. But there is one final thing that this Megatron is missing, and that is the rub symbol that should appear on this part of the gun, this little black bit here. See, there's still a little bit of sticker residue there, so I might just clean that off. But I've also picked up some of the replacement ones of these rub symbols. So these again from Toy Hacks. If I've got warm fingers, which I don't, let me just rub that. Oh, you can see, there you go, I do actually have warm fingers. You can see there that the symbol is appearing. So these are replacement rub symbols, and these are all Decepticon ones. Now these don't come pre-cut, unlike the stickers which are all die cut, so we actually are going to have to cut these out ourselves. And as I say, we just need one. It goes on the side here of that panel, so I'm just going to cut that out and stick it on. The other three I'm going to be using in a future project, which will be restoring a vintage G1 Soundwave, so I need at least one of those, and I've got a couple of cassettes that are also missing the symbol, so I'm going to keep all of these for that project. But let's cut one of these out very carefully, and we'll stick it on the Megatron figure so that he looks complete. And here is Megatron complete in gun mode. As you can see, he's looking really quite lovely. There was not an awful lot that actually needed fixing on this toy. Really a good clean, a tighten up of a load of the screws, removing sort of old stickers and putting new reproduction stickers on. And you can see that he looks remarkably good. It's almost like he is box fresh now. It really looks like a very lovely Megatron. Let's transform him into his robot mode and we'll see what he looks like then. And here we have Megatron in his robot mode, and as you can see, he's looking lovely and shiny now, and just the addition of new stickers and a good clean has really made the world of difference. And even his gun is looking really nice. I've never quite understood the point of his gun, because that is Megatron's gun, so this is just a sort of unnecessary extra. I have to say, when I display my own sort of personal Megatron, I don't bother with this. This is just in a bag of extra weapons, because that is what Megatron looks like, and with this sort of added to his arm, just looks really weird. But there you go, that is how I've sort of fixed up this Megatron. He's not the most complicated of things to fix, although there's a sort of lot of fiddly pieces on him. Really a good clean and some new stickers, and that was all he needed. I know there are other sort of fairly common issues with Megatron. You often see them with the arms snapped off, and really the only way you can fix that is to glue it back on using some plastic weld. And occasionally his legs are a bit sort of floppy, but I have to say the two that I have don't have those loose legs. If you do have loose legs on your Megatron, then check out my shockwave restoration video, because that will give you some ideas on how you can fix it, and I would probably go about fixing this in exactly the same way. But there you go, that is what Megatron looks like. He's looking lovely and shiny, and actually in far better condition than the one I currently have on display, so it just tells me that I need to fix up the one I have, because he's looking very tatty, and I think I'll be ordering some more replacement stickers to go on him. I'd like to say a massive thank you to Michael Schaefer, who very kindly did send in a huge box of Transformers, and this is another one of those that I'm sort of working my way through fixing up and repairing, so big thanks to Michael. If you've enjoyed this video, then make sure to hit the subscribe button, tap the bell to be notified each time I upload a new video, and thanks for watching.
Thanks for watching toy-polloi. Subscribe for more great videos. You can also follow toy-polloi on Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram.